So Jesus figured out a way to speed that process up, and he did that in a year and became a new being to where his body could never become a slave to wine or slave to sex. He partook in these things, but he was a part of this brotherhood, the Essenes, and they knew how to master themselves on that level. So they didn't have to partake in those things. These were light beings. So Jesus, he was a dark being, so he understood the dark, though. He went to hell. He lived before the age of 33 in sin and shame. He died and shed of his body for your sins to show you he did that for you. He could have moved on. But he did that and came back and rose from the dead as a new being to show you that you can live a new life in this life. You don't have to die. He said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in heaven as it is on earth, or on earth as it is in heaven. As above, so below. He was teaching on the higher principles of spiritual universal law. So you don't have to die to go to heaven. You don't have to be a slave to your sins and fear. That's a sin too. Fear is a sin. You know that, right? It's a sensation. A lot of people are addicted to fear. This is why people watch scary movies. A lot of people like being scared of authority. And they like scaring other people. Then you got the boogeyman people that scare other people because they scared. They're like, you ain't scared? Well, I'm going to scare you too. This is why you should be scared. They're dark lords, dark entities that don't even know that they're affected. So this is why Jesus says that he's the living Christ, because he wants you to live this life, and this life free. See, that's what people feel. A lot of Christians miss that point. You don't have to die and be in like, this life ain't nothing but hell and we gonna die and go to heaven. You can leave this is your heaven here in this life, because he's the living. I was listening to some minister on TV, and he was saying that Jesus is the living soul, the living soul, or the living Christ, the living God. Meaning that on a metaphysical level, you need to walk around and be in abundance and bliss now on this particular plane and in the next life. That's what a lot of Christians miss out on. So you know, a lot of religious people in general, they're like, yeah, well, if you got money, that's wrong, and ain't nothing wrong with having nothing as long as you're not a slave to it. Money's an exchange. Jesus was rich. I was hitting that point earlier and just hitting so many points, but Jesus, he walked around and did his thing, but he was rich. He moved around as a nomad, but he had a pretty large tribe. And you need to get this book called, I'm going to say this and I'm shutting down. You need to get this book called Jesus, The Last of the Pharaohs by Ralph Ellis. That's a great book. It's going to show you how the prophets was like almost billionaires. So Jesus came from a long line, man. That can trace itself. All the further you can trace yourself back, the more you get. Remember, I talked about that on the metaphysics of royalty. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down. I could talk about Jesus all day. I hope you guys had a great holiday. Those people that are into that particular aspect of it, and for those people that aren't, I understand. This channel, like I said, is just my opinions and views, and me stating what I believe is the facts, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm like your spiritual lawyer, or your spiritual detective or something. Like, how we use astrology and New Age science and teachings to enlighten and uplift for all of humanity. So with that, I'll go ahead and shut this video down. I thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until we meet again, I'll leave you all in Namaste. Hotep. Wadu.